Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So today we are talking about Oregon. Oregon has been in the news a lot lately, mostly because of Measure 114, which was arguably one of the worst gun control measures that we had in the entire country. We're not talking about a bill, we're talking about a measure. This was voted on by Oregonians, and it passed by an extremely slim margin. So the people actually voted to have their rights restricted. Now, obviously, it doesn't matter if somebody votes for it or not. That it cannot supersede the Constitution. So thankfully, Measure 114 was put on hold. Now you think that the Oregon legislature would actually wait until there was a final outcome of these court cases that are challenging 114 before they go ahead and they do anything else, right? But no, that's not the case. As a matter of fact, Oregon legislators have decided to go full scorched earth on the Second Amendment and have introduced three new gun control bills, some of which are going to be heard as early as next week. So Oregon is just going absolutely at it, and they are just trying to eliminate that right in the state altogether. So let's talk about what they're trying to do now while the other one is still being figured out. This channel is proud to be sponsored by Phase 5 and the USCCA. Make sure you check out that link down below to the USCCA and get your membership today while they still have those amazing freebies like the range bag, the Pelican Vault, the cleaner, all sorts of really cool stuff that you can get just by becoming a member and getting that self-defense liability insurance as a member. So these are three House bills. We have House Bill 2005, 2006, and 2007 that have been introduced in that state. Now, let me just tell you something real quick. I used to spend a lot of time in Oregon. Oregon is a beautiful state. It is unfortunately controlled by these very heavily populated city centers. That's who controls everything else. But there's a lot of good pro-Constitution conservatives that live there that are going to be affected by this. So let's start off with 2005, HB 2005. So what that looks to do is it looks to go after you if you are somebody who wants to manufacture something on your own. It goes after what they call ghost guns, right? So that's another term that they've created to try and make something seem worse than it actually is, when it's nothing different than what we've been doing in this country since before this country was founded. So they're actually putting some pretty heavy penalties on this as well. So if you're caught with one of these, parts, right, or something that doesn't have a serial number on it, or you've manufactured something on your own after this bill was to pass, we were talking about 10 years in prison, up to 10 years in prison with this bill, and up to a $250,000 fine, and that's per instance. Okay, so you're looking at massive fines, lots of jail time for somebody doing something that we've been doing in this country since, like I said, before the country was ever founded. This is something not only that is part of our history and tradition, but our country is steeped in tradition when it comes to this stuff. So obviously, it's totally constitutional. They are introducing something that is unconstitutional, and they want to punish you for it. So you wouldn't be able to buy anything without a serial number on it anymore. You wouldn't be able to have your own kits, be able to do your own thing. They want to make that completely illegal, and anything that's 3D printed or anything like that, that's also going to be part of this. They call those, instead of just untraceable, they're undetectable as well. So they are going after that market pretty heavy with 2005 in Oregon right now. So this next one seems to be a trend across the country right now. You're seeing a lot of states that are trying to push this, and it's basically raising the minimum age from 18 to 21 so that you wouldn't even be able to start practicing your rights until you hit the age of 21. So you're 18, you're 19, you're 20, forget about it. The only thing is, when it comes to exemptions with 2006, is for law enforcement, for military, or specific hunting applications, right? So you'd be able to get a specific thing for a specific application, and that would be exempt. Otherwise, just forget about it. They want to basically take the rights away from anybody that falls in that age group. I mean, you're talking about wiping out somebody's right. You might be 19 years old right now, and you're able to vote, you're able to buy a house, you're able to sign contracts, you're able to join the military, you're able to do everything that an adult can do. But for some reason, only one of your rights, not the First Amendment or the Third or the Fourth or the Fifth or the Sixth, but only one of those amendments is going to be removed from your privilege, because it's a privilege under, well, with Oregon's frame of mind. And then there's HB 2007, which looks to allow cities to pass laws on where you can carry. Basically, government buildings and things like that, more than likely things that would already be restricted anyway. But I'm assuming what they're doing with this is they're allowing cities to create their own sensitive places through this law. That's kind of how I read into it. It's, again, allowing cities to go over what the state might have in terms of carry laws and make their own safe places and their own carry laws within the city limits. So, again, we have, bans on certain types. We have age restrictions. We have carry restrictions. All of this coming on the heels of Measure 114. I mean, even the Oregon Supreme Court doesn't seem to be on the side of Measure 114, denying a petition from the Oregon State Attorney General to overturn a preliminary injunction by a lower court judge. So it doesn't seem like anybody but those people that live in these big cities really want anything like this. But again, that's what they're using to control here. So you have to go back and you have to look, and we talk about this all the time because of Bruen. You have to look at text, history, and tradition. And if you go back to the founding of this country, or the ratification of the Second Amendment in 1791, and you let's break this down very simply. You have to find something that's similar to the law that you're trying to pass now, back then, that actually held up during that time frame. If you can't, then the law that you're trying to pass is automatically unconstitutional. It has to be part of our nation's historical tradition of firearms regulations. And if you look at what they're trying to do here, we actually have a tradition that's completely opposite from what they're trying to do. We have a history of making things ourselves. We have a history of being independent and, fending for ourselves. We have a history and tradition of letting youth and people who are considered to be adults have the things that they need. None of this stuff would hold up in court, but they're going to do it anyway. Constitution be damned, just like always. So I wanted to let you guys know about those three bills. It's kind of just a short video for Saturday today, but I wanted to let you guys know about them because people in Oregon who are opposed to this type of thing really need to speak up. I mean, you really got to send in those letters, those emails, make those phone calls, and make your voice heard in objection to all of these new bills. You have to speak up because, again, otherwise you're just going to get steamrolled by the people that live in these big cities and these densely populated areas. You have to show up. That's what's going to put a stop to this eventually. So anyway, I wanted to let you guys know about that, and I want to thank you all very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and you guys have a great day.